Okay, so here it is. So there are three APIs that Pandas basically provide to do merge or join of data. Okay, the basic one is concatenate, which is not really the most popular one, precisely because of the performance reasons. Okay, this concatenate is not the popular. Merge and join are the one that you should be using more often. Okay, so let's understand. Okay, so let's first create some data frame out of it. Okay, so this the sheet is merge, join, and concatenate. Huh? So I request you to.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Sir, this is Sohinia, sir. I'm new to this session.
I just dropped you a message. So you'll be just be with me this session. We'll plan a backup session for you, or we'll share the recording as well. Okay, just try to follow this. It should not be a lot of problem. Okay, just
Okay, sir.
yeah. Okay. So what you're doing here, you have a data frame here. Okay, and A and B are two columns of the data frame. That's what we are doing it here, right? Okay. Now, similarly, we have created three data frame here. Can you notice this A, B, C, and D? These are the column names and the index values, right? So we have created some three data frames. Okay, data frames, as we discussed earlier, is more of a table. So three data frames you have created. Okay, and you can see this three data frame consist of the same column names ABCD. Okay, ABCD. Okay. Now, yeah. So what you did here, you created a list out of these data frames. Okay, now you're passing it to concat function. Okay, by default, concat will do vertical stacking. Okay, fitting one frame on top of one another as long as the column names are same. And as you can see, the column names are same for all the data frame. It just started sitting on top of another. Okay, please notice few things here. Okay, please notice few things. The index is not actually recalculated. Okay, it is using the original index value that it is coming up with, which can be desired in certain situation, which is something that you do not want in certain situations. Okay, so in that case, you can use this ignore index sort of an API. Got it? Right? Ignore index is equal to true. What will this do is basically this will actually recalculate your index, as you can see it happening here. Okay. No. Did you see it was abrupt, right? Whatever the value actual data frame had, it actually added the 0, 1, 2, 3, the same index value it carried forward here, right? But here, as you can see, what is happening, you are generating from 0 and it is continuously generating the values. Okay. So one more thing here. So what is happening? You are combining those data frames here, right? You're combining those data frames. Now let's see what is more interesting stuff. So you can also mention the keys over here. Okay, remember these things are very important here. I mean, of course, the concept wise as such. Okay, so you can see here when you combine data frame, just imagine you have daily sales record, right? When you are combining the data frame, you of course want this date information before it, isn't it? Then when you're combining daily report together to create monthly report, you want month before it. So that this is what hierarchical indexing is all about. Okay, hierarchical indexing. You can see, from your daily data. This is something that gets used in the sales analysis very often. You get sales report from all your, like, just imagine 24/7 shop outlets are there. You get daily sales report from all the all the sales, and you want to create a consolidated information for a year, month, year, and all that. That is what you need. Is why you
But above, the above one actually, I mean, when you are concatenating, if the column names are different,
then they'll go into new columns.
New column, and
right.
It will be NA.
Right, absolutely.
How does it understand where it has to put the keys?
This X, Y, Z.
Yes.
So the X. See here we saw the frame number, right? Frame number. How many frames are there? 3 frames. So each flag will go to each of the frames.
If I declare one more, it will give an error.
Right. Okay, it will go to corresponding frames. Okay, so you can see you are giving one more level here. After that, you can keep going. Like you can see here, U, V, one more level. But the point is, how do we access it now? It's really simple. You give comma separated accesses here, as you can see here. Y, comma 5. Okay, I mean Y was. Right, I mean before executing this, it will be U, comma Y, comma 5. Got it, right? This is how you access it. U, comma Y, comma 5.
Giving indexing like
This is
5.1, 5.1.2 like that.
That is little different. Here you will be accessing comma. Okay,
It is separated by comma.
Comma, yeah. Indexes. So this is known as hierarchical indexing. You can really see a lot of data in your Excel sheets, which is in this format, isn't it?
What it is the Y LOC means location.
LOC. This is a few things that we studied. I think the class you're not around. Okay, we have the recording. So LOC means it is trying to access rows. Okay, so that's precisely the case. You are accessing Y index and 5 sub index, and you are accessing a column, and this is the value corresponding to it. Okay, let's see, we have 2 data frames now. Okay, you have this df1 as one data frame and df4 as another data frame. Right, you have 2 data frames. You have bdf as column for df4 and abcd column as df1. So you can see B and D is common between df1 and df4, right? But remember, if we try to concatenate by axis1, what does axis1 mean? Sitting coordinating horizontally. So now you can see, even though the column name was same, it didn't matter. What matter is index name same. Okay, you can see both the data has 2 and 3 as common index, right? So that is why it merged along the index values. Okay, rest of the stuff is null in this case. Right? Okay, it combined horizontally.
Why you are using axis here?
Axis here, axis 0 means combining, by default axis 0 means combining vertically, axis 1 means combining horizontally.
Only 0 what we are using.
Right. Okay, you can
Join equal to inner. Here we are using inner join.
Absolutely, that is why I mentioned about revising database concepts a bit. Okay, so here it means inner join means it will retain only the information which is common indexes and not otherwise. Right, you can see here data with index 2, index 3, and it is retaining that information and not anything else.
What are options are available for doing?
Yes, all of them. Inner join, outer left, outer right, outer.
I will think whether we are going to discuss about any special data like some location, latitude, longitude, how to measure calculating the points. Whether we are covering that.
Location. I don't think so. I use the data set. Okay, at least in my current course, I don't use it. I mean, if you have anything like that, you can share with me. I can use it. Okay, I just never entered.
Okay,
Yeah. Location here also you can have those. Just that it's not something very common you use. It's not. Okay, so append is not that useful. Okay. And the next useful thing is your Yeah, this is what is something that you will be using most. Okay, be comfortable with merge and join. This is how you will be doing all the. See, what will you do? You will get data from different places, right? You need to combine them and then do some data analysis. Right. Okay, so what is here? So we have two data frames here, left and right. Okay, so the few important points to here note. First one is huge performance difference between your merge and your concatenate. So you should prefer using merge mode. It is more of a database style of doing it. Okay, concatenate is your Pandas style which came to picture, but all the database normalization, all those operations happens really well with merge utility. So let's take a case where you have two data frame like this. Okay, and this is how it looks like. Can you see important thing over here? Like both the data frame has a common column key. Okay, both the data frame.
Searching up here. I thought I heard something wrong.
Okay, so here you have. So here in the two data frame we have key as common field here, right? Key. Now when you do this PD merge left and right, this is the two data frame that you want to merge, and you're mentioning the column name based on which you're merging it actually.
Here indexing doesn't matter.
Right. Here indexing column doesn't matter. It is more like database style, right? This is what we understand better. This is how it performance is better. This is what is more flexible.
Only one question.
Yeah.
How did the columns get arranged in the order A, B, key? Is that alphabetical? Is it declaring different?
This one?
No. When we're declaring the data frame, we've mentioned key first, right?
No, so this thing is, it is dictionary, right?
Okay.
Dictionary can never ensure, assure the order in which it is coming here.
So if we want to have index names separately, so
then you can create a data frame. After that, you can do the double bracket thing, right? To filter things out of it in the order that you are interested. Right.
Here merging is just appending or it is
It is
creating column?
It is merging like database merge, database join sort of combining actually. Like for example,
No, it will combine the set of data like table 1, table 2 based on the key. It has to give each of A, B, C, D like that. And A column, B column, C column.
Right, like this. If you do merge of it, it will be like this. It will combine it based on the K0. Now, whatever order is it, based on K0, it will actually create rows. Right. So that is why you see this operation. Right? Now, not necessarily you are never restricted to have only one column as
How are you creating this set of table?
This display. Automatically it will do. It will return it and it will dump it like this.
मतलब इससे पहले हम लोग को ये कॉल करना होगा कि मतलब एक्सेल या जहाँ पे डेटा सेट सीएसवी फाइल कुछ भी है उसको हमको इंपोर्ट करना होगा
नहीं you don't have to do anything like that. You just dump the output, you will get it. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
नहीं मुझे समझ में नहीं आया कि आप कहाँ से A B C D की इसको कहाँ से लिए इनपुट आज इनपुट कोई इनपुट फाइल से लिए हैं या कैसे मेंशन किए हैं
So ABCD
this is
coming this is coming from these data frames which are merged, right? Left and right.
वो समझ गई
Dictionary, if you go they created
dictionary here, right?
This is the data actually. Left is the name of the dictionary.
Right. So here these are the column names: A column, B column, key column. Similarly, left and this is one data frame. This is another data frame.
If we need some data from CSV file or Excel,
we can do it. Read CSV. We'll do it.
Read like as of you teach in the previous class.
Right. Read CSV. Okay. So here, yeah, that's what your basic merge is. But this on field, right? It is not limited to only one column. You can have multiple columns here. So that the thing is, suppose you have a data frame which is like you have two columns that is here key 1, key 2, right? So what you're doing here in your on, you pass the list of columns that you want to use it for merging, right? Okay. So what will happen? So one question. Suppose for a particular field there are multiple matches here in the other data frame. What will happen?
Particular field?
For a particular value, there are multiple matches in the other data frame. What will happen?
So it will go for the another key to check.
Say for example, K0, K0, there are K0, K0 also here it is K0, K0. So what will be the output?
All the column.
Right. All the combination of it. Right. This is what typically happens in database. Whenever it is merging, right, you pass basically both the combinations.
And all the columns of both will be added, even if the column names are same. Let's say we are using key 1 and key 2 as a key column, but let's say key 3 column, or maybe let's say X column is there in both. We'll see 2 times the column.
Right. And it will actually do the merge. Yeah, coming. How means how you want to merge? Right join, left join, or inner join? Right. Right. Okay. Okay. So when you mention it right, you're trying to do right outer join. Okay.
So right after.
So like this is a possible situation where you want to join it based on a certain column. So okay, so you want to join it based on B, but you have A in both the data frames. Right? You have A in both the data frames. What would happen is it will automatically append underscore X and underscore Y to both the columns. Right? You're appending underscore X and underscore Y to both the columns.
Just to identify.
Yeah.
But why it is giving 4.0, 5.0 that column the last?
Yeah. So here, remember last time when I spoke about it, whenever there is a NaN, right, it will convert it into type float. Right, so that is what is happening here. So and it is using this B column, and to avoid confusion, it is adding underscore X and underscore Y. Is it clear? Okay, let's see more. Okay, so now, okay, what you have is basically the merge indicator. Okay, in place of merge indicator, it's very simple. It will just show you what type of merge it is: left only, both, right only, right. When you are merging it up, you just mention indicator is really true. You'll try to do outer merge, but outer merge is a superset, right? It consists of inner join, left, right. It will tell you what type of it is. So that's it. Okay. Then you have, many times you want to join it by index values. Remember, data index carries a lot of importance in the data frame. You want to join it by index values, right? Index value. See in this, what is the index value? K0, K1, K2, K0. So you have a data frame. If you want to merge data, merge by column, you'll use on field, right? When you want to merge by index, so you have to use left index and right index. Right, you are using left index as well as right index to merge it, and how you are joining, you are doing an outer join. Is it clear? Left index. So see, when it is merging by column, you need to say on field, which column you are interested in. When it is merging by index, you have to tell, okay, on for this field and the index for this field.
Is there any variation in left index and right index? Any other two other is called, or we can give other set some key value instead of index.
You can do that. You can do that, but frankly speaking, this is not the best API, right? You don't like it, right? So of course, if you don't like it, nobody else likes it. So there is a better alternative to that. That is when you use join. Okay, when you have to do index operation, you prefer doing join, like this: left join, right. How outer? Got it, right? So if you want to do merge using columns, you'll use merge. If you want to join using indexes, you basically rely on join. Fine. Okay, just keep this in mind. If you want, you can put a star mark around it. If you're merging based on any column, use merge utility. On indexes, use this guy, join utility. Just make it clear. Okay.
If it index, what will it? If it's
Join.
index?
Use join.
Join. Many times. Okay. Many times. Okay, when you intend to merge it, right? You left and right data frame won't have same column names. Right? In that situation, you have to write this left on, right on. Got it, right? Left on, right on. So what does it mean? In left data frame, use A, from right data frame, use D. Like you have two data frame, you have one employee ID, in other data frame you have ID. You have to join this data. Okay, so in that case you have to explicitly mention left on and right on.
Here the data frame names itself are left and right. Let's say if it is D1 and D2.
Then here you have to write D1 and D2.
So and left on it will be D1 underscore on?
No. Left on is a function argument. It will be left on only.
Left on and right on.
No, why it is giving NAM is every few of the fields. So that is
Because when you are merging here, right, left and right,
okay,
and right on basis of that, there is no field here. Right, that is why it is getting those values NN.
Default value is NN.
The missing values is NN. Okay, so panels is one data structure in Pandas, but it is deprecated. Okay, because of late this the Pandas is working actively on this, and because they've got Anaconda is now funded by Microsoft as well. If you download the latest Anaconda, you'll see Microsoft utilities, Kubernetes, and those things they have added up over here. So okay, so you will see panel. What happens in this library is something that is not used by people. So for some time, they see what are they. See they created a product, like Anaconda. It has a lot of utilities, features, and all that. But after some time, they see some features people are not using. They start deprecating it because you do not have to want to have unnecessary library. So panels is one such thing which got deprecated now.
So it's not in 3.0 or
no, it's not. It's not about Python. It is in, and it's not in your Pandas itself.
It's not.
Yeah. So if you see, how do you know all these things? Just search for this Pandas or is panel. See, we should talk about where it is. See, deprecated panel. But it is in the phase of deprecation here. Okay, so this is one of the things that will get deprecated shortly.
Even when we run, I think they give the message.
Message that it will be deprecated. Okay, so you can skip it. Okay. Okay, so what will I do now do is, okay, I'm just skipping a few things. We'll come back. Okay, I just want to take up this topic now. Okay, I'll come back. This is one of the most important topic of Pandas. Okay, so what we will do here Okay, this is one of the most. If you understand this, even if you don't know a lot of things in Pandas, you'll be able to figure out. So even if you're new to, I mean, this does not have a lot of association with the other things that you've seen. Okay, so don't worry much about it. Okay, so let's see apply. These are very low level APIs using it. Okay, let's see.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, how can I open these Panda files, these jitter files?
GitHub files, you know what you do is this is the repository link.
Okay.
Okay, there you will see. Yeah, yeah. There was a question regarding concat. So concat is needed. I mean, you can use it if you have to do some operation on small amount of data. Okay, it is not meant for working on relatively large amount. For all the other stuff, you will use merge or join. That's it. You do. Okay, so now pay attention. Okay, because you this if you understand this, more or less you will be able to figure out everything. Okay, let's create a data frame which is as simple as this. Okay, you can see two columns here, C1 and C2. Right, C1 and C2. You have this. Okay, you have this function apply. Okay, see here what you do, df.c1 apply. I am passing a function over here. What does it do? I'm mentioning the column name here, right? So this in apply in F, right? What does it do? Okay, in this guy F. Okay, say wait a minute. I'm passing it as a list. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so let's just a second. Empty. Okay, let me just see it, then I'll give some questions also here. So I'm creating a data frame. You can, if you want, you can type with me. This is first column. Okay. This is next column.
So what is contact?
Welcome with W capital O replaced by 0 at the rate 1744. Okay, this is the data frame. Huh? Okay, what you want to do is apply gives a very low level control to the data inside the data frame. Okay, df dot apply. Okay, df dot first I'll use feature wise a dot apply. Okay, and this apply takes a function here. Okay, what it does is, if you see how I'm accessing data frame column dot apply, that means on series I'm applying that calling this function. Okay, in series it's a column. So what will happen if I have to define this function def. Yeah. So if what I can do is return np or c dot sum. Okay, rather write np. I can import numpy as can you see this? What happened? Okay, this is a column that it is interested in, right? Okay, so for each element For each element it is, oh sorry, I added this. So if you do C plus, right, yeah. So can you see what happened? For each element it added 5 to all of them. First thing, for each element, so what does it get? Every time it will get one element out of it, right? One element out of it. So okay, now I do one more operation. Yeah, no, you can deal with rows also. That is what I will do now. Okay, just see, I'm doing a variation here, huh? So because here you're mentioning column name, that is why it is always all column wise. Okay, now you want to deal with rows, right? Like in this case,
What is this one here? This is Pandas has no attribute. It's an important Pandas attribute. Did capture?
F capital. Okay, so now you are applying this on a data frame. When you apply this on a data frame, you precisely have to have mentioned the access information, right? When you do this, you either make it data as a row wise or column wise. When you give 0, what will happen? You'll get column wise. You give 0, 1, you'll get row wise. Okay, so if you do this, def f row return np dot, sorry, some r.
By default, it takes
See, 6 plus 1. Okay, 2 plus 7. Right, it is doing this way operation. And just yeah. And if I do here np dot sum, see.
It's the same.
It's it's understood the difference there, right? So here it is df apply, and what you're doing sum. So it is doing sum of, got it, right? Sum of this kind. So if you want to do, if I change by this by 0, what will happen? Sum of columns, isn't it? Right. Right. So this is how it is different. If you access it from data frame way, you are accessing data, I mean, with access information and all that. Otherwise, if you are doing column name apply, you are getting only that field for that particular column. Okay, write this code. Suppose I have a data frame like this. Okay, here
Here is doing error DF of inherent syntax.
hmm?
Here is doing inherent syntax.
Why is there a pipe saying over there?
Where?
Yeah.
But here,
Hmm?
this thing here, what is the DA to apply only for anything?
Listing is converted as APT. Okay, so now what I'm doing, I'm trying to create a data frame. Yeah, NP random size say 5,5. Okay, and columns, right? Columns, 5 columns, right? So I can write maths. These are marks. Okay, science, Hindi,
if you will not specify columns, then it will give 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
right?
0, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right. I just wanted to give it explicit. Index is student's name. A, B, C, D. Right. It is generating this data for you. Marks.
What do you do here?
I'm giving a question. What you do now is based on this data, right? Okay, if you want, I can move it down. Right, based on this data, find these are the student names. Okay, ABC. Find me average marks of A and find me average marks of maths. Okay, using apply utility. So remember, Pandas is not only meant for processing structured data. I'll give you unstructured data like JSON content, and in using Pandas, you will be extracting columns out of it. Okay, we'll see that. That is where this guy becomes very powerful. Feeling cold. You always find it. Hello. Check it. Okay, just give me a few minutes. Just try this. Find average marks. Just see the syntax above it. Average marks of actually find average marks of all the students. Okay. Right, and average marks for maths and marks for science.
Usually, I think we asked to do for all the columns. I think it was high students. Specifically, anyone? No, specifically anyone. Specifically, मान लो सिर्फ एक का एवरेज सिर्फ एक तो वैसे इंडेक्स मान लिया ना ये तो वैसे नहीं होगा जैसे मार्क्स डॉट ए डॉट नेक्स्ट नंबर एरर आ रही है क्योंकि वो एक्सेस दे रहे हैं ना उसमें फिर उसमें एक्सेस मत दो एक्सेस देना पड़ेगा नहीं एक्सेस नहीं दो एक्सेस मत दो तो वो जीरो ले लेगा ना उसका वो तो इंडेक्स है ना लेफ्ट से हाँ इंडेक्स वैल्यू है मुझे एक्सेस नहीं दे रहे हैं तभी वैल्यू आ रहा है फिर वो एक्सेस 1 होगा डिफॉल्ट एक्सेस 0 मिल जाएगा तो कॉलम में ईच वन नहीं है वो बाय डिफॉल्ट लेगा एक्सेस तो इसे कॉलम में इंडेक्स को प्रेजेंट करना हाँ लेकिन वो एक्सेस 0 ले रहा है ना ऊपर देख रहा है कॉलम में देख रहा है तो कॉलम में क्या है और मैच एक्सटेंस लीव्स एसएसपी तो ए इज द कॉलम if you say match मैच तो भी तो हो रहा है इंडेक्स नहीं हां मैच नेम तो कॉलम नेम जो है वो नहीं इंडेक्स नहीं ले रहा है
हेलो Actually, calculate average. Here we can use group by or how it is.
No, we don't have to use group. Normal function will work. Normal, we have to use fy function. Some function we can use np dot sum, and then we can divide by the number of.
What have you done?
So I added like np dot sum, then I divided by the number of subjects.
What is doing this? Actually, I'm not addressing my first class. Master. Okay. Here it is. Okay, you're writing the function def of the
Yeah.
C and return np dot sum, right? C by 5.
np dot सम करके डिवाइड कर देना आपने सम यूज किया मैंने सम किया डिवाइड बाय 5 कर दिया बट हम हार्ड कोड के लिए मैंने सिर्फ दूसरा ऑप्शन ये दिखा मुझे बट इट कैन बी यूज्ड फॉर लेंथ ऑफ मार्क्स डॉट कॉलम से बट वो लिस्ट आ रही थी हां so लेकिन स्टिल इट विल वर्क फॉर ओनली वन पार्ट मैंने एक ही फंक्शन यू कैन यूज क्रिएट सेम फंक्शन फॉर बोथ राइट कॉलम वाइज और तब नहीं काम करेगा डिवाइड का कुछ तो लगाना पड़ेगा या तो पास द वैल्यू
Then why we are indicating here access is equal to 0?
marks not columns लेंथ को ब्रैकेट में काउंट कर मार्क्स और कॉलम्स बस उसे लिस्ट रिटर्न करेगा जितने भी कॉलम्स हैं उसको लेंथ के अंदर उसको वो जो लिस्ट की लेंथ निकालते हैं अच्छा लिस्ट की लेंथ 5 है लेकिन दैट विल वर्क ओनली फॉर one of the things but if we do like marks dot index then what it will return all the index then we can return yeah oh okay then length of the happen but दोनों को फंक्शन अलग अलग रहेंगे हाँ length of function सब्जेक्ट के दो लेवल के लिए बेसिकली हाँ इंडिविजुअल तो इंटरचेंज कर सकते हैं तो अपने पर डिपेंड है किसको इंडेक्स बनाना है किसको कॉलम फिर उनको उस डेटा पे चेंज करते हैं एक करोड़ इसको ट्रांसपोज करके वापस हाँ marks is not defined error message आ रहा है वहाँ पे is not get up marks क्या है यहाँ पे so ये है right आप एक बार फिर से रन करा दो इसको रन कराइए I think आपने restart किया हुआ है let's see PD is not defined आपने रन नहीं करना है ना तो you are just running that one अभी चलेगा।
आपने एवरेज कैलकुलेट किए क्या?
देखिए
नीचे
कौन सा वाला था? मार्क्स ये मार्क्स no issue वो एरर मैसेज होता है ना, वो रसिंग मार्क्स वाज नॉट डिफाइंड, तो वो फिर से रन कराना पड़ेगा। स्टोर करना होगा, इंस्टॉल करना किसको स्टोर करना है? ये सीरीज दो सीरीज हो गए, ये सीरीज रिटर्न कर रहा है, मतलब मार्क्स जो रहता है सीरीज रिटर्न कर रहा है। मैं आई वाज ट्राइंग टू मेक अ डेटा फ्रेम आउट ऑफ दोस। हां कंडीशनली नहीं बन रही सीरीज होगी ना, दो अलग। ये सीरीज हो गई पूरी जो एवरेज निकल गया, फिर उसको हम डेटा फ्रेम में कॉन्केट कर सकते हैं। कॉन्केट में मतलब सेपरेट डेटा फ्रेम बना लो या देखना पड़ेगा। लास्ट टाइम हमने किया था ये सीरीज है ना, एक सिंगल रो एक सिंगल कॉलम हो गया, उसके अंदर मल्टीपल रो सीरीज है। डेटा फ्रेम के अंदर सीरीज को फिर कर सकते हैं ना, एक नया वो देना पड़ेगा, कॉलम नेम देना पड़ेगा। सीरीज है, दिस इज सीरीज, इसके लिए हमको कॉलम नेम डिफाइन करना पड़ेगा, जैसे डेटा फ्रेम फिर उसका ब्रैकेट फिर एवरेज लिख के कॉलम दे सकते हैं। कॉमा इंडेक्सिंग याद रखना, लाइक इंडेक्सिंग सीरीज है, उसके लेफ्ट में इंडेक्सिंग है। मैथ साइंस कैसे है? नेम ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स वो आ रहे हैं दोनों लगभग ABCD दोनों के है ना। हाँ तो दोनों के एवरेज में दोनों सीरीज के इंडेक्स में उसका है इंडेक्सिंग इग्नोर कुछ। हाँ इग्नोर अंडरस्कोर इंडेक्स इक्वल टू ट्रू। मैं के लिए भी यही कहूँगा एवरेज का एक और तरीका हो सकता है मार्क्स या कैंडिडेट्स को पास करते हैं। कोई कॉलम ए बी से जुड़ा है क्या? ए बी सी नहीं, दैट नॉर्मली काउंट होगा मार्क्स डॉट अप्लाई एफ फंक्शन और बस x इज इक्वल टू 1 होगा। से अगेन पहले हम क्या करते हैं, कॉलम वाइज हम लोग निकाले एवरेज। अब क्या करना है, अब हर जैसे ए बी सी डी क्या होगी, हर स्टूडेंट नेम बोलते हैं, हर स्टूडेंट के लिए एवरेज निकालना है और इंडेक्स वाइज बोल। ऐसे ये कॉलम वाइज बोल रहे हैं अगर सम निकालना हो वो तो हाँ वो तो काम करेगा एक्सिस वन दे देंगे
आपको किसमें काम नहीं करना है
इंडिविजुअल
स्टूडेंट का ना हाँ एक्सेस इक्वल टू 1 कर लेंगे तो काम करना
वो तो कर रहा था बट अगर
हाँ
सारा इसमें बट सबका आ रहा होगा ना सारे स्टूडेंट का एवरेज आ रहा है
ऑब्वियसली
अगर सिंगल
इंडिविजुअल स्टूडेंट
वो तो इंडिविजुअल स्टूडेंट उसको ट्राई करो
So who all didn't finish it? I believe everybody finished it.
we're doing variations
Variations of it. That's great. That's great. Okay. So there are a lot of messages here. I think everybody sent the answers. Okay, so here it is. Okay. Okay, so this is your that's it. Anybody coded any other style
just define a function
for it, right? But yeah, of course you can use lambdas in this place.
if we want output for only one student for example for a then how will we
Huh?
if we want output only for one student
One should remember this is a series.
yeah
Series. So
okay
after getting
just see what is the data type it returns. Basically, use the type information.
but it's calculating for all the records
from this, whatever you want.
we are taking only one record.
But
if you want to calculate only for a particular record, can we do this?
Just this is how the understanding of these data structures are different. Whatever you're doing, you're not basically doing it for one operation. I mean, it is meant for doing scalable application. So most of the APIs is something using that you can find average of all the students, average of this, finding maximum of that sort of utilities. Of course, you can do that. Okay, but mostly this is the way you will be doing. So in this process, of course, you have calculator, right?
There are 10,000 records, and I want.
You will do filter first, right? You will filter that out, what information you need, and you will apply on top of it. Okay, let's see. This is your apply in x is 0 and x is 1. Let's take this case. Okay, if anybody is asking interview some question around data frame, right? It has to be this question what I'm about to tell you. Okay, so what you do is pd dot data frame and a so say you have a data frame like this, got it, right? Can you find me, can you do some operations on it?
Yes.
Like okay, so you have this A and B. Okay, so Okay, now in this case, suppose you have to do this operation of this is like daily. I mean, this is day one, and this is like daily transaction here. This is one detail. This is one detail. This is another. This is another. You want to find which among these was highest, which among these was highest. See, that sort of thing. Okay, maybe I'll change this. Understood. For the next output should be okay. The output should be one column which has among these four, which was the high, or maybe 3, 6, 9, and 16, 18, 29. Okay, this is the output. How will you do that? Understood it? This format of data, this is pretty semi-structured data. You can have dictionary also in the same place, right? How will you do this? You actually cannot go inside it.
But we can use a define function and we can take a element. Then
Exactly, because this is the data inside data. I mean, you directly cannot have access to this list, right? If you do this, right, df dot a, yeah. Okay, so after this, how do you do it?
zero.
Right, you cannot access a particular element out of it directly. Got it, right? What is the problem here? So to handle
A0020 df dot.
I mean, okay, A00.
No, outside.
Outside 0.
One more square bracket. This you can play.
So what you have to do, you have to go to, I mean, if I ask you to find the highest number, think of the complex code you have to write.
Okay.
Got it, right? I mean, it is not the easiest way to deal with the unstructured data. Some column may have multiple data, right? Okay, so I can have like this also, right? Nothing stops me from that. Right, now how will you do this sort of static processing with that, right? What do you have to do? You have to find the maximum value. Okay, let's see. df apply.
We can also use packing and unpacking concept. Packing and unpacking concept was there in Python.
In Python, but how you do that? Is it inside NumPy in the data frame? Inside data frame, this is the controls. I mean, of course, you can get the list and do the processing, but how do you do generic processing here? Because think about your Twitter data is coming. Here is in JSON content, right? How do you create a data frame out of it? Similar sort of stuff. Okay, so if you do this, how do you do all this problem? I'll tell you. Okay, first do this, then print type of it to understand what is happening. This will give you a lot of better understanding. Type of C. If you dump this, you're getting series here, 2 series. Got it, right? Why 2 series? One series consists of this guy, one series consists of this guy. Okay, so if you just change it XS1, you'll get 3 series. 1, 2, 3. Right? This is one series, this is another series. Okay, this is another series. So suppose basically what we want is first 0. Okay, say I want to deal with, okay, which column I want to play with first? A. Okay, so A this.
This time you will get only one series.
Got it, right? It returns a new column and you want to add it to the existing column. Done. So similarly, You can write it in loop also, isn't it? Just have to change the. Understood now? Okay.
It itself max function itself traverses through all
Yes,
the data.
NP max takes a list or a numpy array and returns you whichever is maximum. Done. You want to find mean of all those values, you do NP mean, right? Then you can have a dictionary here, right? You can have a dictionary. You see some this data, so you can just imagine you're getting JSON content. You're creating a data frame out of it. JSON content means key value pair, right? JSON contents. Let's see how will that show up. Okay. Okay, so this is A, and each element is a dictionary, huh? C10. D20. Another dictionary. C33. D44. See, if I have DF, it looks like this. Can you see this? Right, you have a typical JSON. I mean, when you read JSON content, you typically would convert into dictionary and save it, right? Directly. You have a data like this. How could you convert this into columns like D column, C column? Right? You want to convert, you cannot process this data, right? You cannot do queries using this data. You cannot do join operation using this data. You have to convert it into C column and D column. Right? So what will you do for that? Okay, so this is C column, isn't it? Right, I'm writing. Okay, so you converted this unstructured data into structured data using these steps. Clear? Okay. Then you have a special utility of apply map. Apply, as you can see, you know, is it takes data by columns or by rows, right? You need apply map data. I'll tell you why this is useful. It is useful in image processing. Huh? Suppose you have this data, pd dot data frame.
What already here? Dot apply, a dot apply number. What is with this?
Which one? This one. Here it takes each element and this is the dictionary, right? Every time it will get this dictionary inside it.
Okay.
Right? And when you do XD, you are getting that key for the dictionary. Right? You are getting that key for the dictionary. Got it, right? So you have a data frame of dictionary which you have created by reading a JSON content. Okay, now you are converting that into multiple columns. Yeah, this is the value corresponding to dictionary, right?
And suppose if we don't know the key, then how will we do? Because here we have specified
C and D.
So what you can do is, if you don't know the key, right? So what you can do is inside this dictionary, right? What you can do is dot keys. Then each element of the keys will loop through it and you'll get it.
Oh,
right? So I mean, here I've hard coded, but it's just a matter of writing more flexible code here, which actually would loop through dot. Once you get the dictionary, X a dictionary, right? Then here you will write this loop through X dot keys, right? And that's what you do.
We can define a complete function.
Yes, yes. Okay, so take this as an assignment. Get Twitter data. You know how to get Twitter data? Huh? You can download it. I mean, you can of course get it from Kaggle. Okay. Otherwise, you can actually use Twitter driver and Python driver for Twitter and run it for some time, and you will get the data. That's you can download it from Kaggle. Okay. Otherwise, so from that data, you actually convert a data frame. Okay. Try this exercise. It's nice. Okay. Let me see. Let me show one more thing. Suppose you have a data frame np dot random dot random.
From Twitter data, what we need to do?
You need to create a data frame. Try that exercise. It will give a lot of it's very interesting. And random. So 1 to 10 and size 5 cross 5. Say. Okay, so you have a data frame like this. What do you want to do here? All the data which is less than 5, you want to convert it to 0. Understood? Okay, all the data which is less than 5, you have to convert it to 0. So you can do this beautiful stuff with apply map. Def. Okay, what you can do is df dot apply map lambda x 0 if x less than 5 else x. Is it clear what I mean by this? Right? If it will return 0 if this condition is true, otherwise it will return x. Got it, right? Okay, you do this, you'll get all the data, all the values which is less than 5 will be also.
It has not modified data.
No, it will if you overwrite it actually. Understood what is happening here? Okay, so this is used in image processing, this sort of API. So okay, so I mean for data which is pretty close to this, you want to do some augmentation sort of stuff, you can play around this guy.
So what is the basic difference between apply and apply map?
Apply actually works on columns or rows. Apply map works on all the elements. It will, if you print type of apply type inside this X, right? It will be each element of the data frame. Okay, so if you want to do something which operation is across the entire data frame, you can use apply map there.
Function similar to the map function.
So there is a map function also. Map function we have already used using apply, right? So map function is one more specific case of apply. So if you have this data frame of map, df dot map. df dot map and map, remember you can apply only to column. Okay. Yeah, only column.
Here, like you mentioned, as a data frame, it has to arrange the keyword like random of 1 to 10 of data size, right? 1 to 10 and size equal to 5, 5 means 5 column and 5 rows.
Right.
While varying in lambda, so if x less than 5, yes, it has to return
the same value, right? I mean x0 if x less than 5. So if the value of x is one of those values.
Okay.
If it is less than that, you'll replace it by 0. Okay, if it is not.
Okay. If it is greater than 5, it is replaced. It is showing the data.
Right.
If it is less than, it is
right. It is replacing by 0. Right. Okay. Okay, so let's see further. Okay, so I was trying. So what is the data frame? I've regenerated, right? So suppose column number 1 dot map This is column, so I mean this is specific number, so you have to give it like this. Had it been string, it would have worked, right? Yeah. You not same above column, right? Oh, sorry, it is not like, and it is number. Yeah. So if you do this dot map, no, map is another. Yeah. Here x plus 10, if you do, it will add 10 to each of the elements. Understood? Now a question. So now I'll do.
Can't we apply map over that? No, do not work.
No, it will not work. Apply map is like for only one column. Column. See here, I'm applying df1 dot map. Okay.
And apply is for either column or
rows. You can get both the access.
Basically.
Right. So now suppose you have a data frame where you have two columns. You have to combine, do sum of those two columns. How will you do that? I take a case. I have this marks, right? I want to. Okay, I have this, right? What you have to do, you have to do sum of English, create one new column. Okay, using apply only do this. What you have to do, you have to create one column and to find highest marks that you got.
Subject. So once again repeat the assignment, sir.
Yeah. So you have to find in which subject, I mean, among maths and science, the question is not among all the subjects, among maths and science, which one did you get the highest marks? Right. Maths and science, you have to return the highest mark among them. Understood the question? So had you give all of them, then you would then NP max and all that, right? You have to do
for every student.
Yeah, for every student, you have to find who got the highest mark between maths and science. Among this maths and science. Okay, so what will you do? It created a new column. So what you get when you have to compare different columns to generate some information, you'll use this ability, right? Okay, fine with everybody? Let's proceed further. Then the next useful operation is rolling by. So you have this marks, rolling.
Map.
Why it is given here?
Map, I thought we did it. Map.
No.
Okay, map is a specific case of apply along x is 0.
Okay. No, this example we haven't done with map. Can we do this with map?
Can you do this with map? That is also one question. Can you? Because you need multiple columns information.
Okay. At a time, it will deal with the
Single column only, right? So you cannot do that with map. You need more, something which gets multiple column out of the way. Okay, of course there are other ways to do that, but not map. Otherwise you can get this column and okay, can you create a new column by copying the value here and all that. Okay, so let's do rolling. Rolling means it is like, last 7 days you want to find mean of it. Okay, say in this case, last 2 data, okay, you're finding mean of it. Got it, right? Last 2 data, this is mean. Sorry, marks. So what is the mean of last 2 data? 17 plus 10, 27, 27 to 13.5. You see here 13.5. First row is NaN because the mean of this guy and the previous guy which does not exist is NaN. Okay, here then you can mention there's something some parameter. I think minimum periods. Yeah, minimum periods 1. Right? See this. If minimum periods 1, but the previous guy and this guy is doing a mean of it. You just imagine sales transaction. You can see what is the sales information, sales for last 7 days. And you can see, okay, which was the week, because daily thing can be a dip, but a weekly information summarization gives you a very raw idea about what is happening. It gives a very summarized information.
Stock charts because
Last, right. Last. So based on this, you can plot the graph here. Last week, from today, last week, this was the case. Last week, this was the case. Yearly, this was the case.
How do the implicits will come for you?
Which one? Tab. So if you write this, marks dot tab.
Min period. Periods.
Min period.
Yes.
Okay, and after that you give a min, you can write your own function also after that.
We can also give axis. Axis equals to 1.
Min period, right? You can do that. Correct, no? Got it, right? Along this axis, I was wrongly calculating it. So along first this guy and this first guy 17.0, this guy and second guy, this guy and this guy 10 and 14 is 12, and so on, right? Along this axis. Okay, this was rolling by. One more important utility. Okay, one more important utility is string functions here. So I'll load some data to make it clear. pd dot read CSV. Okay, data. So this is some passenger data. Okay, so here you have to see, here you see index column is separate and passenger ID column is separate, right? Here you can write index column. Right, you can see this is the data here. Now you have to find who has the longest name. Okay, who has the longest name or similar such string utilities. So just copy the data here. Okay, so remember this all the, first what you do when you're data and Titanic info.
Okay.
Whether you already have the CSV file?
The data.
Yeah, I have it is there in the GitHub actually, the same directories. Okay.
That's what this one is more than it's because I don't have.
Yeah. So here you can see this when you do data frame.info, you're seeing a lot of information. First is you see the age column has some null fields, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Secondly, Kevin column has a lot of null fields, isn't it? And what are the data types here? Right? String. I mean, object means non. It can be a JSON, it can be any other thing, but it is not an integer and float. Okay. In your JSON file, in your CSV file, it can be anything, right? Okay. Like we have hard coded here, it can be anything. So if it is unstructured content, then you might have to do the above thing that you have tried to convert that into a structured format, then proceed further. Now, okay, now here, okay, so we see this name. Okay, so Titanic data dot name. Okay, so you can see the names here, right? All the names you want to find. So when you have a string column like this, if you do a dot after that, press tab, you'll see here all the string functions here. Oh, sorry, first str dot press then tab, all the string functions here. Capitalize, cat, center, contents. Got it, right? Similarly, you see, if you have a string column, after str you'll get this utility. Then you will have a len utility here. Len. Yeah. So if you do this, it will find length of each name here. Did you get it? All you have to do is np.max to find the length of the longest name. Okay. Now, if I ask you, find the person who have this name, find the records.
We have to take the index of that and then.
What will
Max name. Okay.
Map we can use, right?
So this is the max name. Then you're just storing it here. Then what you do is Titanic data
dot name.
Titanic data dot name. Okay, this is the person with the longest name. That's it.
We need to get their.
This is the filtering condition. Write this, right? You have, if you don't have access to data, just I think you have access to it. Download the directory. You have the access to it. Okay, if you don't, what you do is you click on the data here. Titanic train, click here. Okay. Then click on raw. Save this file.
But we can also save this file in our local language. We can directly call with the path name and all.
Yeah, you can directly call with this. Copy here. Okay, so this is this. You have a read CSV. But whenever writing such long name, name, right? Press R before it so that it. Yes. Otherwise, it will generate its own.
Okay.
It was generating 0, 1, 2, 3 numbers.
Right. See now, you can directly read from this file.
So we can get and R is recommended to you.
Yeah, R is. If you don't give R, then it will misunderstand your slash.
Basically, NumPy and Pandas are used hand-to-hand together. Here we use NumPy.
Yeah. Fine, is it clear? And go to the top.
Index data connected.
Yeah.
Index equal.
So find the richest person here. Everybody gotten access to this page? If not, use this URL. Okay. Find me the richest person here. How do you decide? I mean, use.
They'll say.
Is there any other parameter which can tell you about his region apart from here? So find the richest person here. You're not connected to that? Without connection, you don't know.
That's what. How HTTP is going to redirect the page.
You're connected.
Here,
Yes, just open this URL.
but here just open. Here,
Maybe the path is wrong, so
this HTTP raw data user content.
read says
Raw user content. GitLabs.
not so.
For beginners. Where
Slash tickets.
There are 3 people.
3 rich people here. Okay, so I think everybody was able to do. Let me just quickly do it.
it is?
Actually, what I did, I created a same data folder in my.
This one.
I did it at home itself. I downloaded all the data files already. But I think you will give that URL also. Not working. Download the data file quickly, upload it. You go to users.
This
download
folder
data.
contains the
Go
all
to you
input
see
data.
that users. उसमें folder बन जाता है ना वही folder है. You can paste this. You need to upload. Copy this.
Here is the data. Fine. So what you have to do, you have to find the maximum
Where
here.
is data? Here.
Data is equal to.
Okay. Give me this.
Okay, so this is the fare. You just have to find all the people who are paying this much. That's it. Okay. Okay, so
Coming the output.
yeah, data is your data. That's okay. That's okay.
Okay, data.
Okay, let's see further. So this was you, and the next thing after this is group by operation. Okay, so you have the data here. Now you want to do group by. I think all of you are from data. You have a group by, so grouping based on certain info. Suppose in this case, if you have to ask me, what is the, you have one column here survived, right? Right. I think this is the column survived. Okay, you want to identify which class passenger survived the most. So you want to group by based on P class first. Right, in data, group by P class. So remember, group by returns a group by object, and then you want to count. So here you see passenger class 1. Okay.
If we are using group by, definitely we need to use
P class is
column name.
Column name. You are grouping by that.
Passenger class.
Yeah. Silence. Yeah. So it will tell you that only 216 passengers were there in first class, 184 there in the second class. Right. So I need to group by. If you want to find all the groups, if you do this groups, groups is a. See this? These are the index number of the data which belongs to class number 1. Index number 2, index number 4, index number 7, class number. These are the data index number of the data which belongs to class number 2.
When to use like here you are using dot groups, right? Whereas previously we used dot that size then predictor.
So here I just wanted to see all the groups. Is like it will show all the. I didn't pass a bracket because group is an attribute. Okay, so just see this. Suppose if I have this and you do describe. It's very useful, this ability. It will, right, it will tell you P is capital, so that may be one mistake. P is capital.
describe means.
Yeah. So describe means if you say mean age of passenger moving in class 1 is 38.2. mean age of passenger in class 2 is 29.
For all numericals.
Yeah,
Columns.
yeah, it will give you this operation. All this very useful. It gives you summary, it gives you complete analysis of what is happening around. Fine. Now,
Here we will describe to see the
describe to see the if you describe here, okay, then what you see here is your this information for a group. That means it will describe the data which belongs to class number 1 because you are grouping based on class. You are showing the summary of the data which belongs to class number 2, class number 3. Got it, right? Okay, so it's for that particular group it is showing this summary here. Okay, there are more things that you can do here. Titanic data dot group by say you want to do this. Okay, if gender wise, male or female wise, you want to find mean age for each gender, what was traveling, right? So you have this. You can see here females maximum minimum age was 0.75. To know how different commands of group by are there, right? So what you do is Titanic data dot group by. Okay, when you create a group by object, just create an object out of it, GB. Okay, then you do GB dot tab. It will show you all the possible options that is there in the group by.
Okay, without that it was not showing.
Well, if it is multiple chaining, right, it won't show. That is editor's limitation. Okay.
Whatever you want.
But by pressing tab also it was not showing any commands.
How?
After typing GB.
After writing?
After typing GB dot also, we are pressing tab, but it was not showing.
No, if you have executed this line, shift enter,
okay.
Then you do GB dot, it should show.
Okay.
Fine. Okay, so okay, let's see more of things. GB dot aggregation. Okay, so this is the first column. What do you want to do? Min, max, right? So for age, it showed you minimum and maximum. For fair, it showed you mean of it. Right, in one shot.
Basically, whatever we passed inside the list, it acts as like sub function.
Right.
Calling another sub function.
Right. You see this? This is another way. You can define your own functions also. Of course, I am doing a mean here. You can do anything, right? Age, quotes. See, age is a field here. You will write quotes.
Okay, code is missing.
Yeah. Then you can do GB apply also. Got it, right? This makes sense? You try this? So there you are getting a one column control. If you want to get multiple column control, use this. Yeah. Got it, right? Now you know what to do next. Right. What will you do next? Once you get the fundamentals right now you should be able to extrapolate. So here C is there. Okay, so what is this C? Right, what happened over here?
All the numeric columns.
Yeah, all it calculated the mean of it. Got it, right? So you can write your.
It will detect numeric.
Yeah. What will happen if I do it like this here? Does it even take? That is should it take? Will it work? Okay. Why won't it work? I mean, of course, it does not work yet. Can you think of a reason why it should not work? It does not make sense, right? Once you have grouped by, okay, you have all the data together, right? Does not make sense. That is why it does not provide you this API. It is only in one dimension, right? Understood the difference between group by apply and normal function apply? And make a note of this. I mean, somewhere put a star or something.
We can also do string function in this.
Of course.
Suppose I want in females which girl is having the longest name.
You can do that. We can do that. So how do you first would filter it out?
Filter.
It's more of a filter query, right? Female, then you can do this. Yeah. Okay. Understood these three APIs? Okay, then I'll do this. Okay, time this one I did pacing handling data.
Can you save the upload
there? Okay, so many times what happens is, you get some data missing and you need to take this steps to actually clean it up. Okay, so let's see this data frame here. You have few data as NaN. Okay, so if you do drop NA, it will drop all the rows which has NA in it, any NA in it. So you can see if you will drop NA, you will get only these three rows. Fine, right?
Yeah.
Drop NA. If in drop NA you mention all is equal, how is equal to all, you'll drop only when all the elements are NA, not otherwise.
All the rows.
All the values in the row are NA, not otherwise. Okay. Then you have this threshold utility. What is threshold? Threshold basically tells you, at least this should be the amount of non-null data. Got it, right? That should, suppose here you have threshold is equal to 1. So what you are trying to tell here is the minimum number of non-null data should be at least 1. Otherwise, drop the row. The minimum number of non-null data should be 1.
Should have.
In that row or column?
In that row. It's, okay, if non-null data is less than 1, then drop.
Is anything you can do access 0, 1?
Yeah, drop, you can control the access also. Should like this. You have to drop columns. Columns, so that's sorry.
By default it's 0. Access equal to 0.
Exactly. So here that you will do with the del. Either you will do df dot drop access 1. You can do that. I'll show it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll show it. You can do that. Or you can do del df column name. It will drop the column. Right. Because you cannot drop partially something from the column, right? You drop the entire column or you will not drop the entire column. Okay. So here, let's see. You have okay. Okay, so you have this fill NA here. Fill NA means if this A and B are there, right? If there is anything missing in A, fill it 0. If anything missing in B, fill with 9. Right. Right. And in this case, always watch out this thing in place is equal to true. It will actually edit the existing data frame on which you are doing the operation. Okay, in place is equal to true. It will, if you don't write in place is equal to true, the current data frame will not undergo any change.
What we will need to input? Input drop in it.
Input?
The drop in it. We have to input, right?
Right.
Input. Input is only the first line.
Yeah, here. Drop in it. Okay, so you have drop NA, you have fill NA, then you have replace. Then this is fill NA. Fill NA method fill. Fill means forward fill. Forward fill means if the data is missing, it will copy data from the previous. Like you have temperature data. If someday your thermometer didn't work or you're missing data, it will fill up the previous data, right? So whenever you're using this missing data handling, right, your understanding of the data set is important here.
If we have data, so like previous column 3 is empty. So first column having data, then 3 column is missing. 3 rows.
So the same value will be getting copied again and again.
It can be copied backward.
Yeah, B fill.
B fill. Okay, this is good.
So it will take from the previous column or previous row?
That depends on the excess. Got it, right? If you write excess is equal to 1, you means it will take from previous next column.
By default.
Previous. By default excess 0. Column wise. Got it, right? Okay, then replace, you have value is equal to 2 and NN, and what are you replacing with 3.0?
This is the sequencing of these attributes.
To replace 3.0, that means wherever it will find 3.0, it will replace by NN.
No, I mean you say, can I write value equal to np.nn?
That you can write. As long as you are giving keywords for the arguments, right? You can very well write it.
One more thing, if I want to fill with colors, whenever the string or name is missing, or you have this and
No. Colors and all is demo visualization. Not this. There you can create table, provide colors and all that.
No, some color coding is there, right? Yellow for red for.
That is visualization.
Not here.
Not here. This does not support any color coding. It's just simple data. Okay. So the next thing that is there, I think I'll do it tomorrow. That is time series. Okay, time series is an important topic where basically all the sales data, all the marketing data, everything has this time series information. Right? How do you deal with the time series? So do these things, and I think you realize why apply is important. Among many other things, they give more focus on apply because actually when you're working, you'll find this very useful. And given the situation, or if anybody has to test you, they will give you unstructured data because everywhere, in every notes, everywhere you see
Semi-structured data.
Semi-structured data, and okay, do this first part. Right, so give extra attention to that. Pick up some semi-structured data, do some analysis on it.
अपन देख जो क्लास मिस के दो तीन क्लास मिस हो गया पहला क्लास मिस था इसके
Yeah, so folks who have missed the sessions, right? Okay, of course, we'll try to arrange, recordings.
Recording means कुछ
And backup class, yeah, where there is something planned up.
second classes.
So first go through the recording.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Sir. I have missed the 2 classes, sir.
2 classes, right? So what you do is just first of all, because recording is just over the weekend, it won't be possible because it is completely packed up. We can do the sessions. So just for a timing, right? Today, what you do is you go through this, right?
Okay.
Inside this, and if you don't get it, maybe next week we can plan something like that. Or sorry, next week is a weekday. Okay. These 2 sessions we have to go through completely. NumPy you also do. Okay. These 2 sessions. The search for data science and machine learning, Zeek Labs, and there it is 2 sessions.
Today's file is possible to read.
I can do that.
Especially apply
the code thing, huh?
Because the link which you sent, we got it on Thursday. Video link.
Oh, video link. That is, I am to be blamed for that. Let me stop.